Hey everyone, welcome back to Garnock Reviews, where today we're looking at Mark Zeigler's latest listing in Jacksonville, Florida. And today we're on a 1999 Nordic Tug 32. Previous owners bought this boat in 2006, and until 2015 she was kept in the Great Lakes and freshwater use. And the previous owners then did some major upgrades, including a new hull paint, bow thruster, and added navigation equipment and things like that, before completing half of the Great Loop in 2015. Previous owners then actually sold this and purchased a Nordic Tug 37, and the current owners purchased her in 2016. There's been many upgrades over the recent years, and the current owners have completed the Great Loop in 2019. If you step aboard the aft cockpit, I actually really like this area for the boat of this size. I can easily imagine fishing off of here when you're at anchor, or perhaps you're into swimming, diving, things like that. The aft cockpit also has a lazarette, which is currently being used for all sorts of storage equipment, and that includes chairs that can be used in the aft cockpit, or up on what would normally be the flybridge, which I'll show you in a second. The aft cockpit also has a large storage box. You can easily sit on this if you wanted to, but there's also room in here. You could use it for ropes and fenders and things along those lines. This would also be a perfect area to store any accessories for the tender, and although it's not shown here, the boat actually comes with a Zodiac RIB, and it also has a 6 horsepower Yamaha outboard, and you see we've got a dinghy davit system to make it easy to launch and retrieve the outboard. While it is possible to walk around the side to get to the bow, this is pretty much a full width accommodation boat, and you can see the advantages of that in the inside in a few minutes. Now we take a few steps up. This will take you to the sundeck area, and you can see that there was seats down in the lazarette, which you can easily bring up here. If this was my boat, I'd probably look at put one of those little grills on the deck here, or mounted to the grab rails. And the owners have used this area for storing kayaks for when they've been cruising and doing the Great Loop. And although it's not shown on this video, the owners have also got a removable solar charging system, and it consists of 2 high efficiency 350 watt total saltwater rated solar panels, and these are clamped to the upper deck rails, and they're hinged and they can rotate so you can point it to wherever it suits and you get the most use from them. It's possible to use these while you're underway, and the panels are currently removed, and at the time of filming this boat it was actually in undercover storage. You can see the brackets on the bathing platform where you can mount the rib to be on here, so that way you don't need to worry about towing it when you're underway. To enter the main accommodation from the aft cockpit, there's a small door and an opening hatch, and this can be closed and locked in place when you're underway as well. My first impressions when stepping into the saloon was I'm approximately 6'2" and I had plenty of headroom. I was also really impressed with just how much natural light is in this cabin. You will not feel claustrophobic on this boat. So the accommodation is full width, and to the port you'll see we've got an L-shaped settee. This has got storage behind and underneath, and this actually slides out to create a double berth if needed. The table you see here has got a piano hinge on it, and the table is movable and also folds away, so that if you don't need to have it out, you get more space. Storage is always an issue on boats, but I love the way that every step, every cabinet, every corner that you can find, they've somehow got storage available for whatever you need to help make extended cruising possible. As we move around to the galley includes a laminated grey countertop space with teak cabinets, drawers and locker storage. There's a stainless steel sink and faucet. And you can see here we've got a Norcold in cabinet, lower fridge and freezer. You got a Sharp microwave, and this is a convection oven as well. And then as I remove this cutting board cover that you see here, this actually has an electric alcohol 2-burner stainless steel stove. And the cutting board actually locks into place as well, so it's not going to slip and slide whenever your boat's underway. You can see we also have a TV mounted here, and there's 2 remote stereo speakers aft, so it's kind of like a surround sound effect for it. And as we make our way up to the pilot house, you can see we've got more storage drawers and cabinets on the port side as well. When I entered the pilot house, I loved how clear the visibility was. You've almost got 360 degree visibility, because you can actually see over the top of the sun deck, so you've got views aft. You also have the doors on both sides, so you get easy access to the deck. So in terms of navigation equipment, we've got a Ritchie compass We'll get Ray Marine autopilot, there's a Ray Marine chart plotter, and we've got a depth sounder. There is a AIS system on here. There's a 48-mile digital radar. We've got a Ray Marine VHF radio. There's an EcoPilot forward-looking sonar. And to help with close quarter manoeuvres, there's a bow thruster on board. This is joystick controlled next to the helm. I like the fact that the helm cabinet is hinged, and this allows the helm console to open forward. You can see the 12 and 120 volt wiring system. This is all clearly labelled, so if you ever do need to replace or repair anything, it should be easy enough to do so. As you move your way forward into the forward stateroom, you'll see that we have actually got a double berth on this boat to the starboard side, which I was quite impressed with because most of these boats typically come with a V berth. The lighting's not the best on this film, but the boat is actually in undercover storage, and most of the natural light comes from an overhead hatch. There are artificial lights on here as well, and again I'm 6'2" or so, and I had full standing headroom in this cabin. And you can see we've got storage underneath the bed, we've got drawers as well, and there's storage underneath the little port seating area. There's also a little hanging locker area for additional clothes. And this cabin is ensuite, and it's situated just aft of the forward stateroom. This has got white laminated bulkheads with teak trim, and you'll see we've got a moulded vanity mirror and storage cabinet. It's a stainless steel sink, and this has got a vacuum flush marine toilet and holding tank, and there's a separate stand-up shower stall in here as well. There's a tank watch monitoring system, and this will let you know how full the holding tank is. There's approximately quarter, half, 3/4 and full measurements. As we make our way back into the pilot house, you can see that we've got the bench here. There's frames that you can put out so that you can sit when you're facing forward and you've got footrest, but this actually slides forward and becomes a really good watch berth. The engine access for this boat is actually under the panels at the main helm, and these are easily removed and they can be stored to the side. As I remove these panels, you can also see just how thick they are with the soundproof and insulation. So when the engine is running, this is a very quiet boat. There's also very little vibration that will be felt with it. The engine on board this boat is a Cummins 6BT 5.9 litre diesel engine. It's approximately 220 horsepower. It's a direct drive unit, and this has got somewhere in the region of 2,500 hours on the clock. The boat's got 100 gallon freshwater tank capacity, it's got 200 gallon fuel tank capacity, and it's got a 25 gallon holding tank. Approximately 7.5 knots, she's running around 1100 RPM, and this gives you 1.2 gallons of fuel per hour, which means at cruising she has got over 1,000-mile range. If you ever need more power, the maximum speed for this boat is somewhere in the low teens. You can see we've got a custom exhaust riser cooler that has been installed on this engine, and I liked how much space there was. I might not show it in the camera, but I liked how much space there was to do the routine maintenance. It's easy to get into things like the air filter, it's easy to get to the oil and fuel filters. There's actually an oil change pump attached to the engine, which makes oil changes extremely easy to do. This engine has been well maintained. You can see there's no signs of any leaks or damage or anything like that. I'm sure this boat's turnkey, ready to go again. So we make our way back up to the pilot house, and you can see again we've got the doors to either side, so it means that you can do close quarter manoeuvring regardless of what side. You've got easy access to get to the pontoon. So we make our way up to the bow. You see we've got good handrails all the way up here, and then when we do get to the bow, there's a 33-pound oversized Bruce anchor, and there's a Maxwell HRC electric windlass, and this can be controlled from the helm and with remote control. There's approximately 50 feet of chain and 200 feet of rope attached to the anchoring system. As you look aft towards the pilot house and back to the aft deck, you can see how we've got handrails and grab rails throughout, so if you do need to transition through that way, it is possible to do so. And that is the same on both sides as well, with solid grab rails. And Mark has kindly provided us some additional photographs here. The boat was lifted out and the hull was painted in March 2021. You can also see this is how it looks with the Zodiac RIB on the aft deck, as well as the kayaks up on the sundeck as well. I'd like to thank you for your time for watching this video. I'd like to thank Mark Zeigler for allowing us this opportunity, and I'll include his details in the description for the video. And I look forward to catching you on the next one. Thanks everyone.